everyone, it's Carolyn here to share some random thoughts, some fun things, maybe a little channeling. This is just random today. I have so much I want to talk about. I couldn't narrow it down, and I figured I'd just end up doing a video that would be like an hour and a half long, and I probably would ramble. And so this is not a typical video for me. What I'm doing today is I'm going to share some of my thoughts, some fun things, just kind of probably mainly too because, I live alone and I'm used to getting out and seeing a couple people on occasion. I'm not a big socialite, but I'm telling you right now, I never thought I would miss all that. I'm kind of losing my mind today. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'll do a video. And I was like, well, what am I going to talk about? Because I had all these major topics to talk about around all of awakening and ascension and all of that. And even though I am going to comment on some of the things that are on my mind, that's not going to be the primary part of this. So you're going to get a lot from me today. So as I got thinking about doing a video, I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually making me feel like I'm socializing today. So, oh gosh, okay, so here comes my cat to socialize with us. All right, let's see if he'll stay with me. Oh my gosh, he hasn't been with me at all today, and now he shows up. This is what happens, because I know this is going to sound interesting, but maybe doesn't make sense. But whenever I go to record a video, he shows up. Now, you don't always see him because I usually go and shut the door. But there's something about the vibration of him, he just kind of knows that I'm going to do a video. Anyway, enough of the cat stories. So anyway, I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel. I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And typically, I will offer channels from the Light Keepers, from Celeste and myself, where we will actually channel together, or I will talk to you about a particular topic and channel that has to do with spiritual awakening. Lately, what I've been doing, though, is I keep telling myself, well, let's just talk about awakening and ascension and some of the things that will help people through. And yet, at the same time, there's a part of me that says, well, do we really want to keep talking about the virus and everything? Well, the thing is, this is one of the events that we have, I don't want to say been waiting for, because it's really not at all what I would have expected. But as we know, in this journey, in this awakening, ascension, growth journey of humankind, so much grows out of what is being broken down. And this is what's happening right now. So I just want to thank you all for joining me today. So even though this is a little unorthodox, I don't know, I think there's some fun pieces in here or something you might take away. So first of all, I am going to start out with a channel from the Light Keepers. It actually was posted to my email list yesterday for the week of April 12th. I do weekly channels. And this one, oh my gosh, I usually get up in the morning on Friday, and they just kind of come flowing out. I know when that's going to happen. This one just flew out in literally, I don't even think it was 5 minutes. So here you go. Stillness of mind comes from the quiet time. Now more than you know, this is the time to let go and be in the space in your way that fills as you stepped into a chasm today. And we say, you have, we find. But this is more than just what in human time is seen as boredom or anxious about, of what the mind knows not what to do without, or knowing what is to come next and how. It is instead the shifting you find, what some have called the ascending times from, oh yes, the human mind, where all is often chaotic, we say, and your head whips around as you blaze your way to and from unconsciously too. But this is not heaven's due. For you now find within how to stay conscious or become to begin in a time that has changed so too, of what you were used to relying on for you. This is the opportunity now where all of human consciousness is spared, and overcoming more of the way the mind worked before. And now it will be open to explore something new in how you see, and you begin to think no longer unconsciously. From this you will see more now too of what you have long missed as you calmly take new steps forward today. And one more the next, and really feel your way through these times that come now too, graced from the heavens above for you. It cannot be seen right now, today, how this time will be looked back on, and you'll say, never again will we see those times, for now we all live from our consciousness of the deep soul inside. So I'm always amazed when these come through, and I know I say that a lot, but oh my gosh, this one is a long one, and in many ways it really wraps up what this is about. And you can look at all this from, different perspectives, and I know many of you are, and I do have some comments on that, and probably a longer channel on all of that at some point, or not just channel, but video. But this just wraps it up so well. So I hope you enjoy that message from the Light Keepers today. And again, that's on my email list, and so you can find below in the description box where you actually get a free video, but it leads you to my email list where I do a channel a week to support you on your awakening journey, and then also some other content that I offer on occasion through my email list. So there you go. So today, like I said, this is going to be random, so you really don't know what you're going to get. I don't even know what you're going to get. So I just hope you have fun with this, and I hope also it's a little support for you along this journey. And I'm going to share a lot about what's going on with me, and then also some things I've noticed during this virus situation that we're all in. And I want to talk about some things that I'm already noticing that are changing for me in this, and that you may be able to reflect upon and relate to. And I do think each to our own, we're going to make shifts and changes. So I'm going to share some of that with you now with respect to what I've already noticed in myself. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to share some fun things. They're totally random, but they're just kind of some fun things and some tips too. So there you go. So first of all, I got thinking about this. So my life is pretty simplified as it is. So in the beginning stages, I'm going to say late March, because I'm in Iowa. And I've told you this before, we kind of were, I don't know, late to the game. Maybe you could argue the whole U.S. was late to the game, but we also we don't see the impact as many of the rest of you are seeing with respect to this virus and the numbers. But needless to say, so end of March, roughly, things were starting to kind of shake up. And I was realizing literally up until this week, okay, how is my life being impacted? Because I could not get out of my head all the different scenarios people are going through, that you guys are going through, that are so different. Everybody has a unique circumstance as to how they're dealing with this quarantine, and what their circumstances are, their familial circumstances, their individual personal circumstances. And I thought, well, you know what? I don't know. I'm probably, one of the fewer impacted individuals. It's just me. I don't go that many places. I do my work from home. I have an online business. It goes on and on, right? And I thought, I don't know. Can only imagine what other people are going through, people with families and kids, and oh my gosh. And I just kept thinking about that. Well, what I realized this week is there are things that are changing for me, even though, like, as you know, in the awakening, we go through this kind of whole house clearing, right? Of ourselves, of our lives, of things that no longer serve us, regardless of what it is. But we do go through a whole house clearing. And a lot of that has to do with simplifying our life. So I kind of thought that's where I was. But what I'm finding now is, wow, this week it has hit me over the head in spades. So I want to share today some of the things that I'm learning. They're all random. Learning about myself, learning in general. I have 6 things that I want to comment on that you may resonate with, or where you can start kind of making your own list. I keep mine in my head. And this week is when it really hit me. Yeah, my life is changing. Oh yeah, it is changing. Because guess what, Carolyn? We're all connected. And I knew that. But at the same time, I live a very simple life. I don't socialize a lot. I have a small family. It's basically my mom and my sister. Basically it's me and my cat and a couple friends and my family. But what I realized today is how much all that matters. And it doesn't matter how little you get out. And honestly, I would bet you that by now, some introverts are going, I really want to be around people. Because I don't know if you're familiar with the ambivert versus introvert, extrovert, that's those of us who are right in the middle. Oh my gosh. It would just, for me, be better to be one or the other, right? Because the ambivert kind of stays in the middle but goes back and forth, because when you want to be around people and you can't, and you're feeling your whole extrovert side and you can't be with people, you lose your mind a little bit. And when your introvert side shows up and you are around way too many people and you don't want to be, oh my gosh, so yeah, you can choose your situations you're in, but at the same time, this is kind of a thing that just happens with ambiverts. You do this thing and it's just a little dysfunctional sometimes. But what I'm noticing now is, oh my gosh, the appreciation that I have for, this is no kidding, large groups of people. Like I've always loved festivals. I love the farmer's market. And I don't have to be with anyone. Okay. I do a lot of stuff on my own. I've always said, I just need to go and be with people, because guess what it is? It's the energy of others that just drives me. It's like, okay, they just showed me, they said, Carolyn, it charges your battery. It charges your battery because we're all part of the collective. What they're indicating to me now is, okay, they're saying for everyone to one degree or another, this is the way it is. It's just what degree is it? But for me, which that might seem obvious, but okay, so what they're saying is, I didn't really expect to channel, but they kind of pop in. Okay, it's the energetic connectedness of the oneness that we feel. Those of us particularly that notice this when we're in groups of people, festivals, music, or concerts, you name it, I don't know, farmer's market, but groups, right? Groups. Even when you're out to dinner or something, or you're in the park with a bunch of people, even more like a close-knit kind of thing, you join in the energetic connection and you share the oneness. What a beautiful thing. You've all been in those circumstances. Oh my gosh, I am losing my mind right now. And not having this right now for me is really trying, because that's where I would go get my energy. Now, as an ambivert, you also get it from being, the introvert side of you showing up. When your extrovert side shows up and you're lacking in energy, which I know this has happened for me this week, because honestly, I've had trouble sitting down and doing videos, like coming up with ideas, because I'm just kind of not feeling it. My energy, I get that from other people, but groups. I do not even have to interact with them. I don't even have to talk to them. I just need to be there. But again, they're saying it's the oneness of the collective energetic connection that we all have, and whether or not you're, kind of tapped into that. So groups of people for me are just, there's so much for me where the beauty of life is. And honestly, when you think about it, when groups of people come together and they're expressing out of that oneness of whether it's a collective interest in something like a music concert, or a collective interest in like a festival, an art festival, or a collective interest in like the beauty of what we have in my community, which is every summer for the last few years, they've done this really cool block party where like 50,000 people show up, and you'd think, I don't want to go to that. Oh yeah, you do. It's so full of beauty and grace. And it's like when you have that oneness and that connection and what that does for us. And right now, I have chills. Oh, and I'm feeling very emotional. Okay, wow. So they're very much emphasizing this connectedness and how that really influences us. And that we're missing that now. And that coming out of this, not forgetting what we're learning and understanding the beauty of that when we can come back together as groups again. Sporting events, whatever it is that's your thing, where you do end up in large groups of people. And feeling that oneness, that connectiveness is so important. Engaging with others. Oh my gosh, they're really showing me this, how they're saying this is partially how humankind will come back together. Realizing that group events can be done again. Okay, they're just saying we will transcend what is occurring. Okay, I think they could go on and on with that, but I have other things to cover. So, that would seem to be the last thing that we'll do. But no, it will happen again, they're saying, in a more connected way, a more conscious way. You know how we tend to do things and we just do things? Not that we're not enjoying them, but we're not looking deeper. We're only surface. That's what they're talking about. And I am feeling very emotional right now. Love for one another will be seen when groups come back together. Now, again, we're talking about groups because this is my focus right now, right? Wow. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that that's one thing that I, as someone who goes back and forth, extrovert, introvert, this is very much something for me that I am deeply missing. And to the point where one of the things that I did yesterday is I just got in my car and I went and drove around town because we can still go out and about very limitedly to do basic errands. But I drove around, and normally I would take this other route where there are no cars at all and I can get places faster. Oh no, I didn't do that today. I drove with all the traffic. I wanted to see other people. I wanted to see other people. And I'm not talking about online. Yes, that's beautiful. Thank heavens we have that, right? We have online. It doesn't do it, right? I think many of you are loving the online experience, obviously, because I'm super grateful for you guys connecting in. But there's something about the person being in front of you, the person seeing that human being, and that true energetic connection. So I think I've spent plenty of time on the first one, which was groups of people, seeing people again and feeling that depth of that connection and seeing that's one thing that I so badly miss. The other thing that I'm taking away as a learning is I knew this early on, that this is pushing us all individually into the now moment to one degree or another, okay? Because we can't plan right now. We can't make decisions about what we're going to do next week, what we're going to do in a month, what we're going to do this summer, what vacation you're going to have next fall into 2020. You really can't do that right now. Now, we can envision and imagine and have all of that going on in our mind in that whole kind of manifestation idea. But that's all put on hold right now because we're in this situation. And that's actually probably a channel in and of itself. So what I've noticed is with respect to this whole being in the now moment, I really thought I had that kind of down. I was like, I meditate, I do all this, my life's kind of right here. Because of meditation, you really don't do a lot of past future. It does help you very much be in the now moment. However, we are all, I don't care how much you do meditate or how much you are in the now moment, as humans, we all have some plans that we look forward to. Whether it's weddings, events in the city, farmers markets, concerts, things we plan. We all have something. And right now, what I found this week, what I was doing, I was starting to feel a level of kind of depression because I started thinking out in the future. And I started thinking of all the things that I was going to do this summer, which actually in 2 weeks, I was supposed to be on a 2-week vacation with my mom. We were going to go to 4 different states because we're trying to cover all the states that we haven't covered. And I was so excited for that. And we're not doing it, obviously. But the point is that kind of took me down the rabbit hole thinking of all the things that this summer might not be doing, of all the beautiful things that I typically enjoy, of, oh my gosh, what's 2020 going to be like? And oh my gosh, am I going to be sitting here in September? That thing we do to ourselves. But the thing is, this so tests us. How in the now moment are you? How much in the now moment are you? And I quickly said, okay, I got to stop this because honestly, I felt like, you can kind of lose your mind. Like, when else are you tested like this to be able to be in the now moment, to grasp what is truly in front of you, not flit around to all these different things that you could do, but take the time to do the thing that you are doing in front of you and fully engage in it, whether it's playing with your children and not just doing it to get it done, right? I mean, a lot of us do that with our animals, taking our dogs for walks and things like that, doing it to get it over. No, in the now moment now, you're going to be a healthier person through all of this if you can manage your mindset. Again, this is about managing your emotions, managing the human you into that now moment to be able to not look out so far into the future, even, this summer, this fall, whatever those things were that we were all going to do, right, for our summer. And I realize those of you in the southern hemisphere are going into your winter. But needless to say, the point is we all had plans for this year in one degree or another. it will take you down a rabbit hole so fast. So, what I encourage you to do is really wrap yourself up into this whole idea of how do I bring myself into the beauty of the now moment? We're all there kind of to one degree or another, typically, particularly those of you who meditate, and a lot of you meditate. So, great time to start a meditation practice so that you can bring yourself out of that future, because we're not, well, and the other thing is, then you can go to the past too. You can go, oh my gosh, look at all I took for granted. Oh, I miss all that. I miss this. I miss that. You're living in the past. You're going to make yourself crazy. You're going to make yourself crazy being in the past or the future. And I was doing it to myself this week, and I was like, okay, stop. Take a big, deep breath. And these are all things that I kind of thought, and I'm just going to say it, thought I had transcended. Nope, I haven't. Because we never really do, right? I mean, yes, we get to a point where maybe we can master things, but there are times where they pop back in, and we are being tested now more than ever. And so being in that now moment, to be able to look at the things that we're doing very specifically, enjoying them, not just doing them rote because this is how we've done them before. Otherwise, our mind is going to wander into the planning of the future and thinking of the past. And right now, what we have is we have the now. So use it to your advantage in whatever way that means. So I have really learned a lesson this week. And now what I've got to do is really figure out how to rein that in. All right. The other thing, oh my gosh. And this, I mean, may seem obvious, and I know we have all different familial situations, but for me, I have my mom and my sister. And I see my mom probably once every 3 weeks, and we have fun together. We do a lot of neat things. And she's 83, and super cool and healthy and fun, and yet she's also one of the vulnerable populations. She has asthma, and so that's really her only thing that's an issue for her, but it really has made me sink my teeth deep into the, okay, I have somebody here who is very vulnerable. And yet what I have realized is the appreciation I have for just the little bit of time that we spend together, and how so many times, even when we know we are deeply connected to our family, and I realize not everyone is, but when we are deeply connected to a family member, even at times, we'll take that for granted. It is such a human experience to take that for granted and to not, maybe listen to them deeply when they're talking, to not look in their eyes and, really spend that time, not to really engaging in them. We try to just push them off, or, just, put up with whatever's going on. And even if you do appreciate them on a regular basis, if you know what I mean, because all family members can get, a little bit much at times, and including myself. But the point being is, so much of this now, it's really coming home to roost for me, how at times I would, take for granted holidays. Now we've got Easter coming up, and we're not real religious family, but we celebrate Easter because it's time to get together, and we all happen to live in Iowa, in different towns. But the point is I'm just going to admit this, I would do things like, we're just going to go to brunch. I don't really want to do that because I have other things I have to do. And mine's typically, I have to work. Well, what I would do, I would cut the time short. I would go only when I had to, or I would say, I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm starting to sound like a really bad daughter and sister, but so it's not that extreme, but it's enough for me to realize and recognize. Yeah, there are times when those things are relevant, but you can get into a habit of going, oh, I see them enough, or this isn't that fun, or that takes too long, or I have other things I got to get done. I'm kind of one of those that get on this gerbil wheel of having to get stuff done. So that's a real human battle for me, to be able to balance that out and just to chill out, chill out and enjoy the time, because the soul family that we are with, now I realize not everybody's family is their soul family, and that's a whole other conversation that comes through in clients' sessions often, is that we at times are brought in incarnations to be with others, to assist them in their learning and for them to assist in our learning. It's typically those of us who feel like, I don't know where I got this family from. But the point being is, our families oftentimes are part of our soul family that we have journeyed with over many incarnations. And they're here for a reason, to support us and to love us and for us to love them and to appreciate that time, because it is fleeting. And what it's made me realize even more is how fleeting these lives are. And here's the thing. You can say, well, the whole saying of, well, you only live once. And I'm like, no, you don't. You live a lot of times. Don't you know? We have a lot of past lives, blah, blah, blah. But no, we do only live this particular incarnation once. I'm this face, this person right here, right now, with this mother I have that I love dearly, who is that person that she is with that face right now, and her personality, my personality, me, my sister. It means so much more when you start thinking about it like that, for those you love. And friends can be family too, okay? Friends, family, neighbors, all of those who mean something deeply to us, we can take for granted. Doesn't matter how much you love them. So try to dig deeper now and look at where you might be having some of the same things come up that you're now realizing about yourself that you can do differently as you move forward with those that you love, be it family, friends, or neighbors. I noticed the other day, it was so beautiful. And I live in about a large 6-block area with a population of about 1,000 people. I live in a college community, and we have lots of condos and zero lots and apartments. And it's a beautiful neighborhood and very diverse. But it was so cool because so many people have been out walking. We can still get outside and walk and whatnot. But what I noticed is the neighborliness. It was starting to feel very much like family. And I feel like that a little bit in this community, but we're very transient because we're a college community. But anyway, what was happening was there was an older gentleman walking down the street, and he waves up to the 3rd floor condo across the way and yells at the guy and talks about, what are you cooking today? What are you making, some hamburgers? I'm coming over, and blah, blah, blah. And so they're chatting. That never happens. That never happens because I'm right out here. I see everything that goes on, and I'm here most of the time. And it was so beautiful. And I've seen a lot of this. The other day, one neighbor walks down the street, and he stops, and he sings across the street to 2 older ladies, and he starts singing like a ballad. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he was going around the neighborhood singing songs to people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people are talking, they're keeping their social distancing, but there's this new connection, there's this beauty. And so if we can not just look at this as a temporary surface kind of thing, but what are we learning that we can take forward with us as we journey out of this virus? Because we don't want to go back where we came from. We all have something to learn with how we treat one another and what we respect out of one another. And are we taking each other for granted? Another huge learning for me, again, this is probably a video on itself, which I'm thinking of doing. I'm just going to touch on this, is staying conscious during this time. And this has happened over a 2-week period for me, where not being the observer, getting pulled into all of this frenzy, digging deep into the news, letting myself, trying to decide if, okay, I'm just going to be the observer. Yeah, I can go watch the news and I'll be fine. Oh no, I can't. So I've learned all that. But the point being is, there's this other piece too, and I know a lot of you talk about this, and I'm glad you do, because there's parts of it for me that I talk about as well. And that's this whole idea of the darker forces, the conspiracy side of things, that whole side of things, and what's going on in the underbelly with all this that we don't really know, and that we're just seeing the virus. But what I realized is, as I went into that part of this, and so just cross-check yourself on this, okay? Because I think light workers can be really susceptible to this. Again, this is probably another video, but digging ourselves in too deep into that world actually lowers our vibration, okay? I would argue that touching in on it and then coming out of it and then living in your consciousness of the light worker that you are, and I don't mean being a Pollyanna, but being aware that that whole arena, even though it may be real, can take us where they want us to go, where the lower energies want us to go. Because as you guys know, I talk in energetic terms, so higher energies, lower energies, where the lower energies want us to go. Wow, why not pull in all the light workers into this whole churning? Okay, they just said the boiling pot. Oh, from which you will not return. Okay, but see, that makes sense because, and I realize some of us, that's probably part of our mission, but for a vast majority of us, for to be able to maintain our high vibration while recognizing what's going on there, it's, maybe step your toe in, but come back out of that and move into the direction of the light and where you were headed and let that happen, if that makes sense. I'm not probably putting this into proper terms, but that can pull us down into, they just said the rabbit hole. They keep saying rabbit hole to me, and I needed to repeat that. The rabbit hole, they keep talking about okay, so now they're showing going down the rabbit hole, and it's very hard to get out of that because it is like now they're showing a tornado. Like it's a tornado. You know how that can be. We can get pulled into something that just is like they're saying a whirlwind, and it is very difficult for us to come out of that because it is intriguing, it is interesting, and there's more and more and more to uncover. What does it do to your vibration? That's the biggest thing to think about, because as an awakened individuals, this is part of what we're here for, is to continue to raise our vibration and determine how we do that as individuals. Does that raise your vibration or does it lower your vibration? I would argue that in most cases, you're going to find that you're not feeling real great after you're living in that space for a period of time. Okay? So, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I have learned for myself, that is not the space for me to be in, that we need to pull ourselves out as light workers, keep our vibration high, because those things are going to unfold as they are meant to. Because, okay, they just said because humans are not in control of what you may think they are in unraveling the depths of the darkness. Okay, so what I would say again is kind of evaluate your own vibration. Step back and think about how and are you maintaining your consciousness during this time? Or are you really kind of moving back into that 3D, I guess I'll just say, the matrix they want us to be in, which is really, okay, they just said the snare. Yeah, see? Because it's, okay, they just said trickster. Okay, so I'm just giving you this to you to think about, because lower energies operate, they just said, in a trickster fashion. And they can show up in many ways. They can pull us in. I have super chills on this. So I'm going to stop there because this is really could turn into a whole video on itself. I think you know what I mean. Staying conscious, high vibe, without, of course, being the Pollyanna, and being that observer. So those are just a few things that I have dug deeper on. And I don't mean just looking at these things superficially. Really think about these things. What do you value? Who do you value? What are you learning during this time? The nits and grits of this. What are you saying that you thought maybe you'd already overcome? What do you do that bothers you that you wish you could do differently and you could put more high vibration energy into? These are all things that are going to come to the surface. The other thing that I will mention, the last thing on this, and then I'm going to get to some fun stuff. At least I think it's fun. And not that this wasn't, but you know what I mean. Anyway, is, I have noticed, I think I told you this earlier, I'll just say bad habits are little addictive behaviors. You think you had those napped? Boy, if you're living home alone, or no, forget the home alone, because you have the other experience. Everybody has their own experience, but here's the other experience is you're in a household full of people that you see on occasion. Not all the time, because you're usually doing your own thing, right? To one degree or another, school, work, whatever it is, sports, working out. And now you're there with them all the time. And that's a whole other kind of situation that I can't relate to, but I sure can empathize with. So the point being is, what are we learning about ourselves? What are we learning about our relationships? What are we learning about our unconsciousness? What are we learning about, we thought we were so far along, But how can we use this and really start identifying very specifically where we can still even continue to improve upon ourselves and make ourselves an even better version? So anyway, so I want to share some fun things now. I don't know, fun things, just things that I thought were neat, things I noticed. First of all, I work out like crazy. I think I've told you that. Play tennis, do all this stuff, go up to my local fitness place all the time. I am losing my mind, okay? That's the one thing that's making me just kind of go, so I'm finding new ways to do things. But I do weight work. Boy, that's a tough one to try to replicate. However, I'm doing it. Now, you guys are probably going to go, this isn't anything new, but I'm going to show you in a way. So, I do weights that are more than a pound each. Okay, so I'm like, what in the world could this possibly do for me taking two, in this case, these are beans, bean cans, and using them for weights? Oh no, do your weight work, okay? And I'm not kidding you. You just have to do more repetitions. Those of you who do this and that do weight work, you already know this. So let me just show you for a second. Just do more repetitions, okay? So like these, for example, I used to do those with heavier weights. Oh my God. And I always loved the way I felt. But no, now guess what I do? Rather than 3 rounds of 15, I do like, I don't know, 5 rounds of 50. And by then you are burning up. Just get 2 cans, 16 ounces, I think. Yeah, roughly, okay? You can do all kinds of exercises with 2 cans of food. The other thing that I've learned is your kitchen counter. Oh my gosh, you can do push-ups, you can do, standing push-ups, you can do the pushing ones in the back where you're working your, I don't even know what this part of your arm's called, where you're working this area, and I do those too. So I'm replicating a lot just by using things in my house. There are many other things that I'm doing. Of course, yoga is fantastic, but the point is go get those cans. And even if you don't even do weights now, you're going to feel better. Because I end up, and I bet many of you, if you're taking your stress in through parts of your body, which you all tend to do, you're going to know where it is. Like mine's always my neck and my back, upper back. And so doing some kind of weight work is helpful. Push-ups are helpful. Yoga is helpful. So anyway, I wanted to share the bean can idea. And then the other day, I had the coolest thing happen. I had to go to the grocery store, but I wore my little bandana mask because my masks aren't in yet. And this gal who works there, she had a box of masks, boxes of masks. She made them for all 3 stores, all 3 co-ops. And she said, "Do you want one?" And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love one. So I'm just fascinated at people that do things like this. Like she's made hundreds and she's handing them out to customers. So I just thought this was beautiful. And now, these masks are a fashion statement. And actually one guy had one with the Grinch and the Whoville people on it. I was like, that's the one I need. Because as you know, I keep seeing the Whoville people and that's who we are. From the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. They just kept singing. And we're going to eventually be like that. We are like that. Okay, but anyway, the point is, I wanted that mask. So another thing that I thought about the other day that popped into my awareness was the movie Groundhog's Day by Bill Murray. If you know that movie, I thought, you know what? This is starting to feel like every day is Groundhog's Day. That movie. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's great. But what I realized is there's a lesson in that for us. Groundhog's Day, in that he, every single day, says, oh, I can do this differently because I know what yesterday was like. Today's going to be the same way. What can I do to change things up to make my day better? To manifest what I really want, which is exactly what he ended up doing. So he because he was repeating the same day over and over, and it's hilarious, he finally got smart and realized, what can I do better to really get what I want in my life, to have the kind of life that I want? And even though it's a comedy and silly and funny, there is real meaning in it. So it popped into, they just said for good reason it popped into my mind. They're saying they brought it to me. So this is telling. They said, so I'd stop being such a Debbie Downer, because I kind of was feeling like that the other day, and I'm getting kind of frumpy this last week with myself. And, they said always look to the bright side. Evaluate what you have been through the day before, take something that you might not have learned from previously because now you may have more time or your time is being used differently. What can you do differently out of the day that you had prior to make the next day better? And ultimately manifest what you really want. Oh my gosh. Now, we're not, so what they're showing is, like, this is so interesting because I didn't know this. I just thought, oh yeah, every day's Groundhog's Day. No wonder I'm getting the movie. No, they really want me to emphasize this. And by the way, when I look up to the right, that's when I get my information, typically. So what they're saying to me then is that it's the little things that matter. Like, for instance, let's just say, I don't know, your relationship with your partner, and what happened yesterday. Maybe you got into an argument and because you've been stuck together for so long, or what was it that you went through yesterday that you can improve upon, even if it's something minute, because this is what they're talking about. Look at the little things, because oftentimes it's the little things we overlook and those turn into big things and big problems. So that is so interesting, the Groundhog's Day movie. Anyway, watch it. It is super fun. The other thing I thought was so neat, I heard about this and this is in Iowa, this anonymous person in their little town of 1,400 people. Don't ask me how they got this done, but they sent $150 gift cards from 3 different places in their town to every single residence, 1,400 people. And all the people in town got $150 worth of gift cards. I was just in tears. I was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful and how clever. I just wanted to share that beauty with you. There's so many cool stories that are coming out now. In our own little way, we can do something too. We can all find our little niche, whether it's one tiny little thing that we do for somebody. But we can all make a difference in all of this that's happening. But I just thought that was the coolest story when somebody has that kind of means and they're doing it anonymously. And then I want to share one more fun thing that I found last night. And some of you may already know him. But oh my gosh, he made me so happy. I'm following him on Instagram now. Can you see this? The Leslie Jordan. That's hashtag the Leslie Jordan. Oh my gosh, this man is so funny. He was on Will and Grace. Anyway, if you're familiar with Will and Grace, is the American TV movie or the U.S. TV show. Anyway, oh my gosh, talk about if you want to have fun, because comedy is kind of a thing for me right now. The Leslie Jordan on Instagram. He is hilarious. So, add a little fun to your day and connect in with him because, oh my gosh, he's just an absolute hoot. So, today has kind of been just, like I said, is random and covered a lot of ground. And, I think something to take away and to kind of think about is it's real interesting how we each individually are reacting to all of this. And I went into this, honestly, thinking, I got this because I live alone and I don't do much anyway and blah, blah, this whole thing. Kind of like, okay, well, this won't impact me a lot. What I've realized is people who thought they were going to be doing great at this actually aren't doing as great as other people that we thought wouldn't do great at this, right? Like my extroverted sister, she's saying to me, yeah, people are just going to find that nature's more important and I'm taking all these walks and I'm just, really relaxing into this. I'm like, what? That is so not her. And to be able to relax into this and watch people react so differently than you would have expected and kind of watch yourself maybe react differently than you expected as well and learn from this. So don't forget the little things that are happening in this because this is where the nuggets of learning are. This is where we can make ourselves better. And you all who are going through this awakening ascension journey, we've continued to work on ourselves. We don't have a choice. This stuff shows up, right? So we work on ourselves, we dig deep. But this is an opportunity for these small little pieces that pop in during these times where we're like, whoa, wait a minute. So be introspective. Take this as a learning opportunity. Create your own educational system for yourself on this or your family, and understand what you can learn and you can do better and how you can contribute even more to the collective by being a better version of yourself as we come out of this, because we will be, and we will find our way to new beginnings. So thank you so much for joining me today in this very random video of things that I hope you found something that was interesting to you. And with that, I will remind you of my services, purplerainhealing.com, where you can look at all my services. But the one that I'm offering now for the special through now, I've extended it through May, is a mini distance energy healing for 30 minutes. You get a distance energy healing where I also work on your chakras. In addition to that, I focus on the physical and emotional situations you want to have focused on. You get a little bit of an assessment afterwards in an email, along with a channeled message from the Light Keepers. So I would love to work with you. It's $45. You can find it on my website, purplerainhealing.com. Just click the contact me, and I will get back with you within 24 hours, and we will get something scheduled. I would love to work with you, and I wish you all well. I am thinking of you. My heart goes out to everyone going through this, and you know, there isn't anybody who isn't, and we're all in different circumstances, and just know that I am with you. I appreciate you so much, and I am there with you in spirit. I'll see you in the next video.